All right, guys, so this is going to be our bonus entry video. I'm going to be talking about how to get higher risk reward and why that could be important in your setups. And I'll show you just some cool ways that I look at it. So for the bonus entry, what we're going to be doing is framing our entire setup. And so this one was a loss, but it's a great example, so I want to use it. Let's go back one more candle. So we have a fair value gap here that's created. Now, in the event that we go long on this fair value gap, what has to happen? This candle has to close right there. So now, as soon as this candle closes, this is a tradable fair value gap. So if we went long, you've seen the mechanics video, we would go long here. Our stop would go to the low of the candle that created the last part of the fair value gap, which is this one. So it'd go to that low. And then we'd be at a 1-to-1 target. So about right here. Now, this is a 1-to-1. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be measuring that frame. And we don't have it completed right now, but in the future, you'll probably have some type of optimal trade entry letting you know, based on your setup, where the most optimal point to get in is. But for right now, I just want to look at it based on like a classic ICT premium and discount, if you're familiar with that. So you can see right here, we've got the premium side and the discount side. Now, we're just going to be entering, of course, if we're long, we're going to be focusing on everything below 50%. So our typical setup, right, is just this here. We're entering at 50%. Now, how do you build an edge into that? Well, you could start building in risk reward. So say if you want a 2-to-1, you could, or a 3-to-1, you could trade the same setup with the same probability of hitting, but you could just take a tighter entry. So like, for example, this setup here, it would have grabbed you in long right here for a 3-to-1. Now look at that stop. It got extremely close. That's going to be what happens with this. But look, now you're already trading up into profit. And instead of having to hit this full TP now, I think we just moved it a hair. Not sure how that happened. But instead of having to hit this whole TP, now you could just look for the internals. All you have to do is get back to 50% for a 1-to-1 now. And then if you want a 2-to-1, you can go to 0.25. If you want that 3-to-1, you could wait for the actual TP to get hit. And so you could have at least on this setup got a 1-to-1, maybe even a 2-to-1. No, just that 1-to-1, and then it would have stopped out. But hear me out, right? If you would have still been looking for that TP, which even at this point you knew had about a 57% chance, you could have moved your stop at least by half after they've ran that far away. And now when you're taking a stop, you're only taking a stop that's half. So where is the exact optimal point to get in on each setup? I can't tell you, right? The data is going to have to show us that. But this is just a cool way of being able to do that without too much hassle. So like, let's look at another one. Looks like they wanted us to take a trade in here. So we're waiting. That one just hit TP instantly. Let's look for another one. Okay, we've got some trading up in here. Okay, so now, if we have this short here, again, we have to measure our whole frame. So the short would be there. Our stop goes to the high of the candle that created that last point of the fair value gap. We go to a 1-to-1. Now, if we're going to measure this whole frame, our normal entries here, our bonus entry, our updated entry is here. So the way we would set it up, we could put a short at 0.75 or 0.85, whichever your preference is. The higher you put it, the less it's going to get hit. The lower your win rate is going to drop. But you're opening up that risk reward, so it's not a bad trade-off. Now, your win rate is kind of going to fluctuate because, for example, in this one, you had no retracement. It just ran straight to TP, so you would have missed that one. Which with this one, you probably would have had to catch it with a bot anyway if you wanted that entry because it was only there for like a millisecond. So it took another short. Okay, so we have a short here. Where's the stop go? Candle that created the high. Where's the TP go? 1-to-1 of that. Now we're in our whole frame again. We go to 1-to-1. We could drop it down to just call it like a 1-minute chart. And then we could do the same thing, right? As it runs up into this one, we put our short. So it might have even already got us in short. I don't think it would have. But look, that's almost a 3-to-1. Just lining it up right at 0.75. I'll do one tick above because it's getting a little tight on the 1 minute. Okay, so that one, and I want you to see it because it happened fast. It ran up to, let's go here, drop it a little bit lower. It ran up to our entry. And then just ran right through. Now, why is this helpful? Why is this a bonus? We still lost. Okay, well, now instead, you had a chance for a 3-to-1. And instead of losing 30 points, you only would have had to lose about 15. So your risk is cut in half. Not only that, but your reward is extended. Now your win rate is probably not going to be as high because, like I said, you're missing all the ones that just barely dink the fair value gap and then run straight to TP. So you're missing those, but that's why I call it a bonus entry. It's not necessarily something that you always have to do, but it's something that's always going to be there and will, you know, be able to help your bottom line, because your overall risk is going to be reduced. And we'll go more into the setups. We'll go more into finding the most exact optimal point for your setup right now. So if you're going short, just look above 50%. You could look at the 0.62, which is the actual optimal trade entry, 0.75 or 0.875, like I showed you here. And it's just reversed for long. So if you want to go long, just measure the fib the opposite way, do the same thing. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for the Silver Bullet course. Like I've been saying in every video, man, don't be shy. Pretty accessible, especially in the Discord group. If you have any questions or if you're struggling, just reach out and we'll get you on the right track toward profitability. Appreciate you guys that made it through this whole series. I hope that the Silver Bullet helps you in your trading, and see you on a live call soon. Let's pass this challenge.